one of the biggest challenges the industry is facing, which is workforce. And in the end, however we characterise it, whether it be about education or workforce, it's the people issue. You know, we don't see this as an issue that only government has to solve, and frankly, we can't solve it on our own. We want industry's ideas, and we want this to be industry-led as much as possible. But I actually feel really optimistic about the future of getting young people into this industry, and there's a couple of reasons for that. It's mainly based on, I suppose, experiences I've had as the minister. And some of you have heard me say this, but there was a really influential, in terms of my thinking, visit that I paid to Corinda State High School, which is a suburban high school here in Brisbane, not too far from where we are, not in the country, in the middle of suburbs. They run an excellent agriculture education program, and I know there's some people who do the same thing in other parts of the country here today. That's city kids who don't come from farming backgrounds, doing agriculture courses, wanting to pursue careers in agriculture, and when I talked to the students and the teachers, the two things that they focused on about why were that agriculture is increasingly a technological industry, and what kid doesn't like tech? And it's also an industry that's the forefront of sustainability. And most young people you speak to care a fair bit about that as well.
So I certainly agree with Murray that I'm happy to play my part and ensure that we're talking to you on a regular basis, but we're also getting you in front of the key decisions makers to ensure that we're influencing government policy, but we're doing it in a way where we can create opportunities for young people, ensure we've got a thriving agriculture sector at the same time, and ensure the country is set up to achieve this over the next couple of decades.
There's lots of successes in food and fibre education in Australia, but it really comes down to a small number of very passionate teachers who are willing to do this. So once they leave that system and leave that school, that passion's gone, and those programs tend to disappear. There's currently no year 11 and 12 agriculture curriculum in Australia. It's mostly all state-based. And I think ideally here's a great opportunity for a food and fibre curriculum that is based on year 11 and 12 to support teachers who are trying to get that same message across the board. A creation of more accessible classroom lessons, online interactive courses. We have Prime Zone Academy, and during the lockdown and the whole period that we've been involved with, on average we have 600 to 700 students logged on to Prime Zone Academy each day doing an online interactive course, and teachers are saying we need more of this. So that's a really important focus. Stronger focus on showcasing how industry is dealing with those big items. It's sustainability, thank you, and ethics, climate change, technology, just showcasing exactly what's going on there. Supporting early career teachers and teachers who aren't trained to teach those subjects. More and more teachers are not trained to teach this subject area, whether it's math, science, English, geography, agriculture, whatever it might be. Targeted teacher professional development for both teaching the content in the classroom, but also for careers advisors. Clearer pathway information. This is one of the core things that really I find that teachers really want us to provide them. What are the pathways in agriculture? What's the job look like at the other end? And that's really important for us to think about that, because the whole thing that Murray said about we have to think about what is agriculture, and reframing that it doesn't mean old man on a tractor.
That misconception at times that city students don't know anything about agriculture, and everyone that lives in the country does, I don't think is quite right. Because now there is often students that live in rural areas and regional areas that don't have that personal connection through friends or family with a farmer, with someone that works in ag. So I think we do need to make sure that we're providing quality educational experiences to everyone in Australia, regardless of where you live. And working with both students and teachers, we found that was a really positive experience, with over 75% of teachers, that's about 200 teachers, looking for opportunities to further their participation in food and fibre education. Online experiences, virtual reality, they're all fantastic, but nothing beats taking kids out into a workplace or a farm and meeting the real people that are in the industry doing those roles. They like that authentic learning experience.
And so if they just see it as being only on farm, rural jobs, feels like the past, bit of a bludge, maybe it's walking cows around a paddock, why do ag? Are you going to be a farmer? Is the question I used to get at school all the time in Sydney, and lots of kids do. And so this is what we actually need to create, which is not known by metropolitan students or by society, and that's where a lot of the jobs are. High tech, science, agribusiness, future focus, make a difference. That's what we need to create. At the moment, we're only graduating about 600, maybe 700 per year from all Australian universities in agriculture each year. So it's pretty dire, and I think it's at its historical low.
Well, firstly, I've got to say, Scott, what you're doing, as I did a bit of research for my speech, I came across the work you're doing, and I just think it is unbelievable. It is completely inspiring. It shows that it's possible. And I think what you mentioned, missed there, and I think this is correct, is that you have a 95% parent satisfaction rating, which is the highest satisfaction rating out of any topic, subject that's taught at the school. So to me, it's just, urban school, urban teacher, urban kids, and you've somehow been able to do such an amazing job. So I think my strategy is just clone you, put you in every school in Australia, and I'll just sit back and enjoy myself. We need to know what food and fibre excellence looks like, where we are today, and what we need to do to get from here to there. So who can do this? Well, what we're discussing today is people development, and in any business, that's the key objective of the People and Culture Department. Now, in my business, People and Culture would develop a strategy for how it attracts and retains talent. But this strategy would be endorsed by the senior leadership team, and only then rolled out, and importantly, in conjunction with the operational teams. So it seems fairly obvious to me, if we are to achieve this initiative, we need Food and Fibre's People and Culture Department. Pleasingly, we already have that, PFA. So, PFA, People and Culture, establishes the strategy with the peak bodies, senior leadership team, and then in conjunction with the RDCs and state farming organisations, the operational teams, the strategy is delivered. Seems pretty doable to me. Now, whether PIFA is appropriately established, scoped, funded, resourced, are all questions we need to work through as part of this process. But to me, we have an existing structure. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's use it, and if needed, improve it.